And this is something you do not see all that often. Even here in the Western Pacific, one of the most active areas in the world for tropical systems, we don't really get three storm systems back to back to back. Sometimes two, but not that often three. Now, all these are not that impressive at this point, but they are all expected to become typhoons at one point or another. Towards the left, we have Linfa out here. We have Chanholm and Nanka all the way there towards the east, just around the international date line. Earlier on, I actually put a video update out already on our storm system just off the coast of the Philippines, Ige or Linfa. Please do go check that out if you are being impacted by that. That one's a big rainmaker, really going to be bringing that threat of some flooding and landslides, especially across northeastern Luzon and even with the inflow across parts of Visayas. This update, we're breaking down our storm system, which is making some 4th of July fireworks over Guam and Saipan. I know if you're out there, you're probably a little disturbed because of the fact that this is going to be ruining some of your plans here. An American holiday out here. I know a lot of people probably have outdoor plans, and right now you're actually only seeing scattered showers, even though the center of circulation is just towards the east of Guam. And believe it or not, that's actually where it is. I know it's kind of hard to see on the satellite imagery, but the center is actually right in here on the last part of the loop here. Even though all this convection is down here towards the south and towards the east, moderate vertical wind shear, that is really just disrupted the storm system over the past several hours. So it's really pulled a lot of that convection towards the west and towards the east and left that center of circulation quite exposed out here. And you can even see it here on the visible satellite imagery, kind of a little swirl right in between these two big areas of cloud cover. Now, in the last several flames, this area is blowing up farther here towards the east, and what that is telling us is that this likely is starting to get back into a re-intensification phase. I know it was actually upgraded to a typhoon back on Thursday night, and then it got downgraded back to a tropical storm. I expect this to become a typhoon again, likely as we go into Saturday night into Sunday when this is passing right over Guam and Saipan. And actually, typhoon watches are still in effect out here for these islands. Posted by the Guam National Weather Service. They're putting out intermediate updates on this. They are warning of heavy rainfall and that threat of some typhoon strength conditions. That would be winds about 120 kilometers per hour or stronger when this storm system pushes overhead. Now, they did say that the chance of that occurring is much lower than what it was several days ago due to the fact that the storm system did weaken, but the islands out here still could be seeing that threat, and that's why they still have these warnings in place. It's a great graphic from the Guam National Weather Service, and I like this, and I wish that we could have this available for other areas out here and from the JMA. That would be fantastic. But what this shows you is the chance of 50-knot winds, basically the percentage of the threat of some 50-knot winds out here due to these storm systems. And we actually have a little bit of an area in green due to Linfa out here just towards the west, just off the northeastern coast of Luzon. But you notice that there's a higher percentage of those winds, and that could be destructive or damaging over here towards Guam because of that re-intensification of Chanholm, which is going to be passing as we head into Sunday now. It's really been lingering just towards the east of the Mariana Islands. So I know that in the previous updates I said expected here basically as we go ahead into Saturday evening, but just because of the slowness this has been getting, it's been interacting with a tut towards the north that's been making it almost stationary and has progressed it forward as forecasted. So basically, as we go ahead through Sunday, your plans are just shot out here. I would even still say Saturday though, because Saturday you're still going to continue to see some gusty winds and these scattered showers due to the outer rain bands with this storm system. Passing basically directly over Saipan, just north of Rota, according to the JTWC forecast, as we go ahead into the afternoon on Sunday. But still, the bulk of that convection is going to lift north. So you're already expecting these outer rain bands. Scroll through the timeline actually here with our ECMWF model, and as we go ahead into Sunday, you can see it basically passing right over Guam. According to this model, I think this is a little bit off and a little dislocated farther down here towards the south compared to the actual JTWC track, and I'll even put it up here on your screen so you can kind of get a comparison. And this is why you don't judge the forecast just off of one model, because you can see what the ECMWF is doing, and it's kind of pulling our storm system farther towards the south here. And it looks small here on this imagery, but it's actually quite a big difference from just moving off here towards the north, passing around Rota and Saipan, bringing those typhoon conditions, or passing closer to Guam. And I think that's why, just because of a disparity in some of the numerical guidance why all of the islands out here are under typhoon watches and not just one or the other, basically because there's a very large circulation and it's kind of disrupted at this point. Models are not handling it the same, and everybody is seeing that threat of some typhoon conditions. Also, by the way, if you're looking at this and you're a little confused about this other line over here towards the east, that's Nanka, believe it or not. That is forming back here towards the east, and in the 5-day forecast, it is expected to come just towards the north of Guam. So something we're going to continue to watch. I'm not really talking so much about that one right now since it's way out there. But let's talk about the forecast here and what's going to happen after our storm system passes over Guam, because as we head into Monday morning, I'm expecting conditions really to start to improve out here in the Mariana Islands. Even though we still have a lot of moisture wrapping in behind it, we're still going to be seeing some rain showers, even that threat of some damaging winds, especially coming in from the south. But our storm system's going to move on, and it is going to be moving into an area of superb upper level just conditions for this to intensify into fairly potent and a fairly strong storm system, and I think super typhoon is not out of the question in the vocabulary of the forecast of this. That said, where exactly is it going to be going? And that's actually a pretty good question, and right now I think anybody from Shikoku, Kyushu, all through the southern Japanese islands really need to monitor and watch this, because it is having a hard time with numerical guidance gauging exactly how this is going to interact with this Westpac high over here and the jet stream coming in across much of Japan. And I'll show you this for example. Let's go ahead and we'll put the 500 millibar heights and vorticity up here on the screen with the GFS numerical guidance. And right in here, you can kind of see where our jet stream is. You have our storm system running along the western periphery of the Westpac high. And you see this line right here, the 5880. You kind of want to gauge that and watch our storm system run along the western periphery of that. Now, this starts to push out a little bit farther here towards the west as we go ahead into the long range with the building in of our Westpac high. Our rainy season front also lifts a little bit farther here towards the north. If that is to occur, it would allow that storm system to stay on a more of a northwestern direction. Think of this as a mountain, and this is just water flowing around the western periphery of it. Now, as we look ahead with the NavGem model, it takes into account the Westpac high, but not as strong. We can see that 588 line. It starts to pull a little bit farther here towards the east. It doesn't jettison out as far over towards Kyushu, and that allows our storm system to basically make landfall around Kyushu into the Shikoku area with this specific model. The ECMWF even goes as far as taking it over towards Okinawa. So what we have going on is a lot of interaction, plus the interaction with Linfa. A little bit of a Fujiwara effect would pull this storm system back towards the west, kind of like two dumbbells rotating around each other. If this storm system, Linfa that is, does intensify to a point that it would allow it to pull back here towards the west. All of this, I know it sounds very complicated, and that's why when you have three storms next to each other, there's a lot of factors that go in place here. And what we have going on is the models are not handling their interactions quite superbly. There's still a lot of research to be done here. But what I can say is I have pretty decent confidence that the southern Japanese islands is going to take an impact from this. At this time, it does look like the Amami Islands. Okinawa, you're not out of the woods. I think you should still watch it. The ECMWF is still taking this storm system over towards Okinawa. Storm passing just off the northern edge of the island. If you are in the military, remember when these T-core systems are set, or the T-core warnings are set, they don't just take in place your specific place on the island, like for example Kadena on the southern portion of the island. You're still going to go to T-core 1 emergency, even if we're seeing 50 knot winds all the way off there towards the north, because there are many bases up and down the entire island of Okinawa. So something to keep in mind, even if this situation was to unfold and had just skimmed the northern portion of the island, you're still going to go through those warning areas, even though down here towards the south, you're probably only going to see winds about 20 to 30 knots. If this scenario is to take place. Remember, this is still an extended range forecast. We're looking actually at this point about 120 hours from now. This is the GFS output for the latest run as well, and it would be much fairer conditions out here in Okinawa, pushing over towards the Amami Islands as well. This would still bring some foul weather, especially out here in the southern Japanese islands, just farther there towards the north. Still a lot of time to talk about it. All those factors I just mentioned a second ago are all what we are continuing to watch. I myself definitely am watching the storm system very closely. I plan on flying towards the south on Tuesday, hopefully to get ahead of the storm system. And it is a lot of money to buy a plane ticket, so knowing exactly where I want to go is kind of a pain, and trying to set up any interviews there is also very rough when you're not sure if you're going to one of these exact locations or not. So with that said, keeping you guys posted. I am watching this very closely as well. Please stay here at westernpacificweather.com. Yeah, storm chaser guys are also going to be heading out here, and these are people that really put their money into the storm. So yeah, please continue to check in, and we're going to have all these updates with this storm system as it does near Japan early next week. Stay safe, guys.